Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeons and Dopamine. Da.
Welcome to episode 44 of Dungeons and Dopamine. I'm Bre.
I'm Jess.
And we are here to dope your mean.
Just kidding. This is Bre.
And this is Jess.
And this is episode 44 of Dungeons and Dopamine.
Happy April Fool's Week.
I
think I know the answer to this question, but I don't know that everyone else does. So, why are you laughing at me?
have a feeling I know what you're going to ask, or at least what it's going to involve.
Do you do April Fools?
No. Not anymore.
Is it because we scarred our best friend in second grade? Or
I
fourth
have
grade
not
or whatever?
I have not played an April Fool's joke ever since Christina yelled at me.
Yeah. No, Christina doesn't yell at people. We got yelled at.
We
was so
deserved
mad.
it.
We did. We really thought we were being funny. We didn't understand. We were babies.
Yeah.
Still. But
We were in what, second grade?
yeah, it was really young.
And there was a group of 3 of us.
Yep.
Christina was still in Muskegon at that time, so we could still be friends.
Traitor.
And we both told her we were moving districts. We were going to be moving schools, and she was going to be all alone.
It's so cringe now when I think back on it, but we really thought we were gonna be funny.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a joke.
And she was so hurt, and she was so mad.
She yelled at us.
She doesn't yell.
Mm-mm.
It was scary.
And I legit do not think I have played an April Fool's joke since then.
Same. And if I do something, it's like I send someone a joke, like a literal joke,
right?
Like a, haha, this is funny, knock knock joke.
Or
Not like
you do something so obviously a joke.
Yes. But I agree. I have not done. I know people who are very like this is their holiday.
Oh, I don't know anybody like that anymore.
I actually. This is my level of like, maybe it's petty. I saw someone the other day posted on Facebook that they went to the doctor because they'd just been feeling sick and they found out they're pregnant and they were like, no, that can't be. And then at the very end, it was like, ha ha ha, ha April Fools.
I thought we learned not to do that anymore.
Thought so too.
There is nothing funny about faking a pregnancy for April Fool's Day.
It was on our podcast page and I blocked them.
Really? Good for you.
I was like, this is disgusting and it's not fun. And everybody in the comments was like, ha ha ha, they're so funny. Or ha ha ha, I knew it wasn't true. And I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
Yep.
It was gross.
Yeah.
I hated it. It's along the same lines to me of people who give away those fake scratch-off tickets.
Oh, yeah.
You've won $100,000 and the person starts crying and they're automatically dreaming of what they're going to do with their newfound wealth. And then they look at the back and it says, haha, just kidding.
I would laugh if somebody tricked me with like a $10 winning lottery ticket.
Yeah.
But I would not laugh if somebody tricked me with life-changing money.
Yes. It would be funny to me if someone gave me a ticket and it said, after I scratched it off, you owe whoever bought this ticket $10.
Right.
Like, that's funny to me.
Right. Or all the pictures are like some obscure...
Pedro Pascal.
Right. But, yeah, don't tease me with life-changing money and then rip it away from me. I will not be your friend anymore.
Nope. I also saw this. I don't know. This isn't really an April Fool's thing, but it's a video of a little girl. She's probably 8 or 9, maybe a little older. It's hard to tell nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks up to her dad with candy, a cotton candy out of one of those cotton candy machines. And she wants to take a picture with him where they're both taking a bite of the side of the cotton candy. Super cute. The dad smashes it in his hands. He like claps the cotton candy in. And she looks like she's gonna cry. He's immediately like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So she then looks to whoever's holding the camera and smiles. But then her face falls again like she's about to cry.
Aww.
And it breaks my heart. And the guy got reamed the heck out on
Good.
TikTok, and he took the video down.
Good.
But a lot of the comments were like, our parents are often our first bullies.
100%.
And I'm like,
I mean, I had great parents. They were not bullies. But I know people who had that type of parent. that was always messing with them and always teasing them and always bullying them.
Yep.
And what kind of adult do you become if the people you are supposed to trust are constantly screwing with you?
Yes.
I just don't get it.
And your kid that kid's never going to be able to trust him.
Or
And I know
anybody.
it's cotton candy. That's so silly, but that's, to a kid, that's a huge deal. I just
Right.
got cotton candy out of a cotton candy machine. That's amazing.
When you said that, it was, for me, it's like right up there with people who smash cake in
God.
faces at weddings,
Oh,
which is my absolute most hated thing about weddings.
I don't understand how anybody. If both parties are consenting, fine. I still
Right.
think it's dumb.
If you planned it
And
that
I-
way and you talked it out
Yeah.
and you think it's funny, sure. Brides spend so much money on their
So much
makeup that
money.
day.
And on that cake.
Yeah.
She probably went to an hour-long cake consultation and had phone calls back and forth with that baker and
But you know what a good prank would be?
to Google Translate our episode, first 15 minutes of our first episode.
That's amazing.
You're like,
If
no.
only we could have prepared for that.
Dang, we did.
What?
So,
Thankfully, we have Argyle Pigeon Productions on call, at our beck and call.
yeah, absolutely.
Ryan does what Jessica needs him to do. So
So I guess let's start off with, let's give some credit to Brandon Ferris, the YouTuber.
yes.
His page is I am Brandon Ferris, and if you enjoy what you're about to listen to, you should check out his page because he has an entire playlist of Google Translate, but Brandon uses it to bake things really, really badly. And he commits.
Yes, he does.
So
He follows directions very, very carefully.
So the idea is that he takes a recipe, or in our case, the first 15 minutes of our first episode, the transcript, and he puts it into Google Translate, and he translates it into a different language, and then back to English, and then into another language, and then back to English. And eventually, you get something like we're about to share with you.
Maybe. If we can
yeah.
get through it.
If we can, we're gonna try. This is gonna be so hard. So, what we're gonna do is, because the first episode was so long ago, and we've been encouraging people who are listening as newbies to start here at the end and move forward, we're gonna also play our first episode for 15 minutes, but we're gonna do it in short increments, probably like 2 minutes at a time. And so you're also gonna get to hear what we think of our first episode, our first attempt at all of this. We're just gonna get started. We're gonna play you a few minutes. Ideally, we aren't gonna be talking or laughing during it, but I can't make you any promises.
I'm going
And
to try to just eat my gummy bears and keep
your
myself
mouth
from
is full, yeah.
remarking. But
Here we go. Episode 1 of Dungeons and Dopamine. Better than meth. Enjoy.
Hi, welcome to Dungeons and Dopamine. I'm Jess Wozniak.
And I'm Bre Fagan.
And we are here to ideally instill some dopamine into your heart.
Or your brain, or wherever. Wherever you need the dopamine.
Wherever you need it, we're going to put it there.
Oh.
Did this podcast just become R-rated?
It's gonna need that explicit tag we talked about.
Taking it. So, we are best friends, and we decided we need to podcast because we're hilarious.
People need to hear it.
Absolutely.
We've been hiding it from the world for too long.
We've been planning to have a show together since we were 8-ish.
That sounds about right.
We were going to call it the Optimist and sometimes Pessimistic Optimist Show.
Yes.
If you didn't follow along with that, one of us was going to be incredibly optimistic. The other was going to be,
Also optimistic, but not always as optimistic.
exactly. And I don't know if we knew who was going to fill each role. It might have just been like week to week. I don't know where we were going to put this show, but We were gonna have it.
Because back then there weren't podcasts.
Or reality
Was it
television.
Radio?
Maybe we were gonna have a radio show. Video killed the radio star.
Oh my god. Yes.
So anyway, here we are,
Podcasting.
podcasting.
Because that's a thing that exists in our current future.
Yes, and all of yours.
Lucky you.
And look,
All right, so that was the first 2 minutes of our very first episode. Can I just say, did we have energy? Did we think it was fun to be the slowest
I was
speakers
just gonna
ever?
ask, like, your voice sounds so monotone.
Like, did I know my name? I think I remember being really nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure it was nerves.
And then I
Because
could
I've
hear-
never heard you speak that slowly and clearly ever in your whole life.
No, never. Even when I work with customers, I'm still speaking quickly and with something. Also, our opener is a jam,
Absolutely.
and I'm very sad that the people who have listened to the first one didn't get to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I know approximately where we left off there.
Yes,
And-
I think I also have it.
So we're going to try and get through this Google Translate. And like I said, we're just going to go up to that point, and then we'll listen to the next 2 minutes, and then so on and so forth. And here we go, my dear listeners. Hello, and welcome to Dungeons and Dopamine.
I'm just an information attacker.
We're here to get dopamine where we need it, in our hearts and brains.
I put it there.
Oh, and this podcast just received an R rating, so it needs clear labeling.
We talked about finding him.
So we decided to do a podcast because we are good friends and have fun.
Everyone needs to hear this, actually.
So do you think it put actually instead of absolutely?
Probably.
I just want to point out that I read an earlier version. This is 29 translations.
Right.
I read the version at 15 translations because Ryan wanted to make sure he was on the right track. The word actually is in it so often.
It must be because of absolutely, right?
It's gotta be. So everyone needs to hear this. Wait,
Actually.
did you just read that? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, I
okay,
did.
okay.
That's okay.
I've been hiding a lot from the world.
We've been planning to play together since we were 8 years old.
It looks like halal.
We call it the virus of optimism, and sometimes the virus of pessimism.
It just says right.
Right.
Not with a question mark, with a period. It's not
Right.
right. We would all be so disappointed if we didn't see it.
Other people's expectations are terrible, but the math doesn't always match up.
Actually,
And we don't know who filled in each line.
patience.
This happens every week.
This is like our old shows when we were kids and doing theater, like middle school
Right?
theater.
It's like our improv games.
I didn't know where to put this show, but there weren't any podcasts or reality shows back then, so I found it.
Right.
Without a period this time.
Radio Star create interesting videos for your radio show.
But we do podcasts, and that's our future right now. So, the next 2 minutes cometh.
get my microphone as if that's everyone watching, listening,
Please
or
don't.
watching.
I mean,
If you're watching, you're on my porch and you're creepy. I'll accept it because you're watching.
if you feel like you need to contribute some money our way, that would be great.
You can put it in the mailbox.
Just leave it outside the door, it's fine.
We got
Anyway,
this. Yes,
so we're going to have a podcast.
we are.
And we are in our 30s. We've been best friends for pretty
Ever.
much our entire lives at this point. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a majority for sure.
Can we remember a time really.
No.
So we met in 2nd grade. We went to the same school. And then we went on a trip together in 4th grade. Met in 2nd grade. 4th grade, I won a competition.
That nobody knew they were in.
No one, even after I won it, I didn't know that I had won. I just thought you wanted my company. Turns out that wasn't the case.
No.
But then we've been stuck together since then. We've been stuck together
Yeah.
since then.
We have been stuck together since.
Let's see how many times I can use that word. So, all of this culminated into a podcast. We're both severe nerds. We're both severely ADD. I think ADHD is the proper medical
Yes,
term. And
that
we
is
are
the new
proper
catch-all.
medical people.
Yes, proper medical.
Absolutely.
I got my degree from Google University
Absolutely.
and Ross Medical School.
I mean, I got mine from nothing. Ask Jeeves.
I just make it up.
So, the best part was that you were following along to make sure we knew where to go and where to stop. And you got to see some of the brilliant things. This is much better if you can do it side by side. but it's
Beautiful.
really great stuff. All right, so I don't even remember how that started, but it's how are you?
Good luck.
I peeked into the microphone to see if anyone was watching or listening.
So if you're being watched right now, my front door, and it's a nuisance, I'm fine with that because you're being watched.
It sounds so threatening. If you feel the need to donate, our approach may help. Please put this in your mailbox.
I'll leave it at the door.
But that's also normal.
Yes, we're starting a podcast and we're in our 30s.
Now we are lifelong friends.
Just.
Yes, that's definitely the majority.
Do we really remember these moments?
Do not have.
We met in 2nd grade.
We studied at the same school. It literally just says, This is my favorite line of the whole thing. This is when we were talking about how I went on a trip with you in 4th grade. After that, we went on a field trip together, where the 4th graders met the 2nd graders. And I, a 4th grader, won the competition that no one else was participating in.
Even though I wanted to go home, there was no one there.
I did win a competition that no one else was participating in, which isn't impressive because no one else was participating in it.
But you still won.
I'll just put it in the mailbox. I didn't know such a thing existed.
You wanted to be with me, but you weren't.
Do not have.
But we are here together and united.
United we are. That's not a part of it. I just added it. Let's see how many times you can use this word.
So everything became a podcast.
Everything. We are collective fools.
That's my favorite line. Although, we are all real ally A TD8. I think ADHD is a good clinic and a good doctor.
I find ADHD is the best doctor.
And a good clinic.
All in one. It's amazing. Yes, that's the right medicine.
Actually,
I graduated from Google University.
both are from Andros Medical School.
Actually, I think I'm underpowered. Okay. Is that why we were leveling up?
I'm underpowered from Andros Medical School, which is apparently an androgynous school.
I should have just gone to the clinic with the ADHD good doctor. I hope you're all following along. I hope it's not us laughing too much. But I'm having a great time.
These are beautiful. I'm going to do all of my correspondence through Google Translate from now on.
I agree.
It's going to get really fun at the township.
At the 15th version that I read, instead of saying I'm Jess Wozniak, I said I'm just a information warmonger. Which is nice.
That's going to be our new job title on our business cards.
Yeah.
Dungeons and
Information
Dopamine Podcast. We're information warmongers.
I'm in. I don't have space for it on the cards right now, but we can fix that.
We'll figure it out.
The next 2 minutes cometh.
And then call it official. It's like if you walk out of a store with something in your hand, but you look like you're supposed to do it, or if you have a clipboard. You can do anything if you have a clipboard.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Get in anywhere.
Absolutely. People won't question you.
Just have to look official.
Yeah, so I carry my clipboard and tell people I have a doctoral degree, and everyone buys it. So, what we have is ADHD, both actually diagnosed by real-life doctors and medical people, but they manifest really differently.
Yes, so even though we've been best friends our entire lives and have a lot in common, we actually are very different people. Which is
Immensely.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm also medicated, which might be some of the difference.
I sleep a lot. Which might not have anything to do with ADHD. That was just a fun fact for everyone.
Yes.
But my ADHD, I hyperfocus, like a lot of people with ADHD do, but I hyperfocus on whatever topic it is that's caught my interest from that moment until I die. I assume as I have not yet died, so it's just an assumption. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
And is 1,000,000,000% correct as I look around your house and see things that you've been in love with since literally childhood.
Yes. Absolutely. Wales, Lord of the Rings, Lost was a big one. Gilmore Girls is how I've developed a personality. We've been over this before. And recently, Dungeons and Dragons
Yes.
come into my life. And now I have a stranglehold on it. And it will never leave. But
Just want to make a note here. So while we're listening to this, Bre is following along in the document with all the translation. And she's laughing really hard, and it's making me laugh, and I can't even look at her. I did kind of stop that one right in the middle, but that's okay. All right, now that we're done, let's make it official.
It's like walking out of a store with something in your hand and feeling like you need it or that you can do something with your tablet.
You can do this if you have a laptop.
Go somewhere.
People don't really ask about it.
It just needs to look official.
Now, let's start writing.
People will believe me if I say I have a PhD.
In other words, there is something that doctors and experts actually call ADHD, but it looks different.
Right.
This one's so excited.
This one has punctuation.
Exclamation point.
Right.
I mean, we weren't best friends, but we had a lot in common throughout our lives.
We are really friends because we are completely different people.
Right.
I also go to therapy, and it can change me.
I sleep a lot, but it probably has nothing to do with ADHD.
Here's an interesting fact for you all.
Yes, but I have ADHD, so like many people with ADHD, I am very focused, but I only focus on the things that interest me.
That one turned out all right.
That was like a real comprehensive
Yeah.
sentence.
But then it goes to probably from then until his death.
Because he's not dead yet.
So this is just a guess.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. You're right. Billions of you. When I look at your home, I see what you have loved dearly since your childhood.
Yes, Of course, whales. But not the animal whales. Whales the place. Which, good, because Lord Fiduso's death was a great loss.
Lord Fiduso's death was a great loss. Gilmore Girls has helped me grow.
He's a famous Dungeons and Dragon character, both past and present.
Yes, please come into my life. This is ridiculous.
I was like, who's Lord Fiduso? So the line was it was Lord of the Rings and Lost. Turns into Lord Fiduso's death was a great loss.
You know, it was though. Oh my gosh, is that the name of the dogman of Michigan?
Obviously.
Lord Fiduso. He's not dead. He'll be back at the end of the 7 year, or every 7 years. I can't remember.
We don't know for sure. We just know he comes back.
Someone listen to that episode and let us know. I'm going there now.
It will never go away, but I'm sharing it with you.
It's a big dungeon, and it gets your dopamine pumping.
That doesn't really work.
Is that where we...
I think so.
Okay. So that's where that 2-minute section ended.
That doesn't work.
Chaos. That doesn't work. I love... It's a big dungeon, and it gets your dopamine pumping. That doesn't work. Like we're having an argument.
Right.
Is this because of Lord Fiduso?
I'd like to put that on our business cards. It's a big dungeon, and it gets your dopamine pumping.
That doesn't really work. All right. The next 2 minutes, please.
Drug you down with me.
And here we are.
Here we are. Dungeons and Dopamine.
That was incredible.
We totally didn't practice that.
It worked out really well.
That was amazing. We're amazing.
So my ADHD manifests more in, so I do hyperfocus, just like you do. But I hyperfocus for bursts of time, become very obsessive about things, and then instantly get bored with them. A couple have lasted longer than most, like Lord of the Rings, which actually I just attribute to a general love of reading. Not sure it's actually any specific stories.
That's fair.
But that would explain why I've had, 16 jobs in my entire life. Most of the time, multiple jobs at once.
Currently, multiple jobs at once?
Yes. I recently realized I have been either in school and working or with multiple jobs since about 2011.
Holy cow.
So,
I'm trying to think now back to when I started working. But that's all the bragging I can do. I've had like a few jobs for an eternity. Until they like get so toxic that I can't take them anymore, and then I leave them.
yes.
But
Which is healthy.
absolutely.
And is what you should do.
Yes, I have gotten better at that even.
Yes. You
So-
have.
yeah, COVID.
These last couple jobs, really.
Yeah, COVID, I left the one job because I was furloughed and they didn't need me back yet. And then I left the other one because
It was toxic.
And now I'm happy again.
Yay!
And I have 2 jobs now. And one of them is with you. Not this podcast either, which might turn into a third
Now
one.
you have 3 jobs.
3. This is a job. And you...
Okay. So, I just want to mention again that we sound so weird. We're both I think trying to be articulate,
Yeah.
which is probably a good thing because, I just caught.
We definitely don't do that anymore.
I said, crap. Last week, the episode that just released, I said, and she told his husband or something like that. Basically, I said that she is a he and that she has a husband. He has a husband. It was really weird. I I also wanted to mention that in the 15 version, which I obviously don't know now, but in the 15 version, when it hit this point, it actually did a pretty decent job.
This section's not awful.
Until it is again.
Yes.
And I almost could tell that it was the same idea because you weren't, like, I didn't have to shield my face from you to not laugh.
Right.
It's a big dungeon. It gets your dopamine pumping. That doesn't really work. I just wanted to reiterate that.
Got it.
We are great.
ADHD is a different story.
I'm stressed, just like you, but I'm so busy right now that I get bored easily.
Like the Lord of the Rings, this pairing lasted longer than the others. I mean, they really like reading.
Did it just start talking about us? Instead?
Right? It's just like, just let me summarize this for you.
This is ridiculous.
I enjoy that it got the Lord of the Rings in completion and even capitalized
Right.
correctly, but the first one was Lord Fiduso.
Must be the way I speak. I don't know if there is a specific and accurate story.
I could explain why I have it, but I don't understand. I've had 16 jobs in my life.
That's all one little paragraph. They are often able to multitask.
This isn't just a conversation.
Yes, I have been working several jobs and going to school since 2011. Stop going to school, Bre. It's
Right?
over.
Now I'm trying to remember when I started working. That's all. I take pride in being able to work forever until it becomes unbearable. And I give up.
Right.
But it also applies to health.
This is absolutely necessary.
Right.
I also feel better.
Yes, you are sick.
Yes, it's Corona.
The last two scenes, right?
Yes, I lost because of the coronavirus, but I quit one job because I was on vacation and the other because I didn't need it yet. I was very hurt, but now I feel happy again.
Sounds less like our podcast and more like a therapy session.
I also thought for a minute there it sounded like one of those nature documentaries, but they were talking about us instead.
You can observe the podcast host in her natural environment.
I also feel better. Yes, you are sick. Yes, it's Corona. All right.
How are you?
I have 2 jobs right now, and one of them is not with this podcast, but with you. This could be your 3rd job.
I am 33 years old.
It's a job that can be done well or not at all.
I think that's scary.
Here are the next 2 minutes.
We'll do it well, or you won't do it at all. I hope that sounded menacing. It was supposed to.
You're not very good at menacing, but it was pretty good.
Thank you. I'll practice. So, we have a couple kids.
Yep.
One
We
each.
each have a child.
And
I have a
a
boy,
husband.
and she has a girl.
They're gonna get married. Not
Yeah.
our husbands.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Our children are pretty much the same age. We had them within 4 months of each other.
Yeah.
And this is how we finally get to be related. Because
Yes.
we've been planning this since childhood too, and we did not marry brothers. So now it rests on our children to get married to really bring this family together.
They're our only hope. It's no pressure. Yesterday, my daughter coerced your son into admitting that he has a crush on her. Apparently, they were eating dinner together. We were practicing this. We knew they were eating dinner together. That's not the apparently part.
They didn't have a secret date.
Aww.
Maybe someday.
Could have. Anyway, so she said, "Is it true you have a crush on me?" And he said, "I don't know." And she said, "Are you serious? 'Cause could you be honest with me?"
Oh,
And he said, yes, he does in fact have a crush on her. And
adorable.
now we can happy leap into our hands. We finally did it.
It's finally here.
And they're both so cute.
They are. They're adorable.
We win.
And nice. They're nice.
Yeah.
And they like some of the same things.
Video games, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Connor is absolutely astonished that our family likes Star Wars and Ninja Turtles, or Tinja Nerdles, as Carly calls them.
Yes.
So that's a little bit about us. Our husbands are cool, but not as cool as our
They're
kids. Yeah, not as cool as us by any means. Shout out to Ryan, my husband, who helped us set up recording, and
I know I can't seem to stop at the right part, but that's okay. We're
Well, the
moving on.
translation doesn't always line up with like the
Right.
pauses.
So I know that some of the upcoming stuff in the version 15 was wild, and I cannot wait to see what's coming up.
Oh my gosh.
All right. This person had no medical skills, but he had talent.
Thank you.
What?
So, we have several children.
Yes, I am 18 years old and have a son and husband.
This is a girl,
They will get married,
not our subordinates.
which is definitely what we should start referring to Ryan and Zach as.
Not my fault that Google Translate dubbed you my subordinate, okay?
But it's been done, so I'm sorry.
But it's in print. It's
Also,
right
I'm
there.
18 again. Yes, our children are the same age.
I received them 4 months apart.
Right.
That's how we became a family. I didn't marry my brother because I had planned it since I was a child.
Therefore, the true unity of this family depends on the marriage of depends on the marriage of children.
Oops. This is our only hope. No pressure.
Yesterday, my daughter had to confess to her son that she loves him.
I think we had dinner together.
We practiced a lot.
We know they eat together.
Obviously, this is not a show.
They have no secrets.
Ah, maybe there's something.
But is what you say true?
You did everything for me. And he said, I don't understand.
She said, is it true?
What can I honestly say?
He said, yes, that's right.
I like her very much, and she is beautiful.
Now we can be happy.
There will be a collision.
I finally got it, and it's so cute.
Is that desirable?
Good day.
Got it.
Right.
Well, everything is the same except for the Star Wars video games.
Well, Connor was completely surprised to learn that our family loves Star Wars and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or Tin Generals, as Harley calls them.
I snorted.
I will only refer to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Tin Generals from now on.
Now, let me introduce myself.
My husband is a good person, but not as good as the children.
Yeah, not as cool as us.
Thank you, Ryan.
My husband helped me plan. All right.
and left so that we could actually record in moderate silence.
Yes.
And
Shout out to my husband who ended up having to work today, so I did not have to kick him out of the house, which is great.
woohoo! And they're pretty supportive.
Yeah.
They're not bad. We'll keep them.
They'll guest star sometimes.
Yes.
Everyone's
Quite excited about that.
And
We also have
children,
some
too.
friends lined up to guest star.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be amazing. You're going to love them. So our idea here is, well, like I said, that we want to share our dopamine with you. And the way we're planning on doing that is to share our latest obsession, or an obsession that we've had. Personally, I got a little obsessed with conspiracy theories or urban legends and did some research on those, and I'm going to share a couple of those with you. And I think your topic is changing every week.
Yes. They'll probably be whatever. They'll probably be related a little bit, just because when I am doing notes for my current podcast, I am also thinking of ideas for my next podcasts. So, you might be able to see a pattern in there somewhere. Or more likely, you'll see a pattern with what's going on in my life at the time that I'm talking about the podcast topic.
I truly hope that these conspiracy theories do not have anything to do with my life.
I agree. Then we'd have to change it to the Bad Luck Podcoast.
And stop calling it Better Than Meth.
But so far, it is definitely better than meth.
Way better.
I thought that was a perfect place to stop because so far everything we've done has been way better than meth.
True.
All right, back to Google Translate. They said record, authenticate, and create silence.
Today I would like to talk to my husband about work.
Therefore, do not kick him out of the house. It's really amazing. Oh, they were so supportive. Yes, it's not bad. That was a whole paragraph.
Sometimes we have artists as guests.
Yes, everyone is happy.
Some of my friends are going to be special guests.
I'm sure everything will be fine. You'll love it.
As
That
I
sounds like a threat.
It does. I'm sure everything will be fine. As I said, the idea is, why do we want to share the dopamine with you, and how can we counter our latest personal obsessions and obsessions? It's all about using ideas. I'm about exchanging ideas. I'm a little interested in conspiracy theories and urban legends, so I did some research.
I would like to share this with you all. I think the theme will change every week.
Yes, yes, bribery still exists.
As I write about my current podcast, I'm also thinking about the ideas for my next one, so I thought this might be a good fit.
You might find a pattern somewhere, or maybe you're noticing a pattern in what's happening in your life.
We're talking about podcasts, and I love these conspiracy theories.
It has nothing to do with my life.
Agree.
Therefore, we must keep an eye on the pot of fate.
This next line is so accurate. I can't even believe it. Not to what we were talking about, but just to life
But
in general.
yeah.
After choosing the Cocoa Waffle Taco, I knew it couldn't get any better.
But it's definitely much better than math.
I don't know your weight, but I know.
It got really weird there. Therefore, we must keep an eye on the pot of fate.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying. I know this can't get better than the Cocoa Waffle Taco, which is obviously going to be the name of this episode.
Right?
We do have to finish this episode, so I'm going to play the next 2 minutes. It's going to happen a lot faster for you guys than it's going to happen for us. Okay.
I don't know what scale we rate that on, because I don't think either of us has had meth, judging by how many teeth we still have.
Not even sure I could pick meth out in a lineup.
Yeah.
Unless
Is
it
it
was
liquid?
bright blue like the movie, or like that
yeah, it's
show.
a pill, right? Because of that show. Are we allowed to say stuff like that?
Maybe we should just
That
move
show.
on.
Yeah. Better than meth.
Better than meth.
So, conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Let's do this. Diving in. Most people have heard of some of the big conspiracy theories, like there's about 1 billion about 9/11, the Illuminati. Seems like any big world event or anything that brings in loads of money becomes a product of a conspiracy theory. So I get super creeped out with conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. I'm so scared that I can't speak properly. This is gonna be a trip. And I'm the one that researched it. This is going great. So I just think it's super creepy. Sometimes the topics of them, but also the fact that, like, hundreds or possibly thousands of people have researched and found all of these anomalies. It's just creepy. I don't know. Just something about it gives me the heebie-jeebies. But with that in mind, I'm actually going to talk about the Titanic, which I also feel like you probably are familiar with. If
I have heard of the Titanic.
heard of it, big ship.
I feel like there was something important about it. You should probably tell me more.
I should.
Okay, I have to tell you right now, the hardest part of this episode so far, besides like crying because I'm laughing, it's snot coming out of my nose because I'm laughing so hard, is Bre laughing while she follows along, and I'm trying not to even look at her because it hurts. Oh, okay. I'm sure this is gonna be amazing. I'll just reread this line. I already totally spoilered this. I don't know your weight, but I know.
Considering how many teeth you have left, I don't think any of you have ever used math.
Of course, you can choose more.
Right.
Is it bright blue?
Or was it leaked?
Incorrect.
Through this performance.
Can you say that?
Resemble?
Maybe I should just move on.
Yeah, it's better than math. Better than me.
This is how conspiracy theories are born.
Yes, most people have heard of basic conspiracy theories, he said.
This is the worst story ever written. Just as a billion people did during 9/11, so did the Illuminati during other major world events.
Conspiracy theories result in more money.
Conspiracy theories are really scary. Can you refute Phyllis' theory?
I was scared and couldn't speak well.
It's going to be a journey, and I'm working on it, and it's great.
So I felt very uncomfortable at times, not only because of the issues that were raised, but also because hundreds and even thousands of people saw this movie and noticed all these flaws. It's such a well put together sentence that doesn't make any sense in this context.
Oh, I wonder if it changed the Titanic to movie because it was a movie. Maybe it picked that up.
That could be.
That's a problem.
I don't know. It has something to do with you.
That's scary. But let's talk about the Titanic.
I think you know that too.
Hear about Thor and his huge ship.
I feel like there's something important here.
Tell me more. I must say too. Oh,
I want to hear more about Thor and his huge ship.
I do think we're on the home stretch now. I think Thor and his huge ship are about the end of this.
I think you're right.
Okay, and here we go.
So, the Titanic set sail in 1912, and about 4 days after it was sailed off, it sunk. And, of course, surrounding this are about 1.2 billion conspiracy theories. That's a specific number. I counted every one of them on the internet. And one of them that I think is kind of funny is that there was a mummy on board that cursed the ship and caused it to sink. One of them is fairly well known that the old White Star Line's JP Morgan wanted to kill his competitors and they were aboard the ship, so he had it sunk. And then the one that I think is the most far-fetched is that the Germans torpedoed the Titanic. I love the thought that the Germans at the time wouldn't have taken credit for that, like an act of war, and just being like, weird. Wonder how that happened. Da. Is that Russian?
That was my first foray into being completely insensitive about language.
It started early.
Here's our home stretch. I think some of our best stuff is over, but I do think there's some good stuff
yeah.
here. I'll just reread this line. Tell me more. I must say, too.
The Titanic set sail in 1912 and sank after 4 days at sea. Of course it got quiet.
That's very insensitive. This equates to approximately 1.2 billion conspiracy theories. First, there are some constants.
Anyone could meet online.
Interestingly, he had a mother who cursed the ship and caused it to sink.
One of them is known. They were there when White Star Line owner J.P. Morgan tried to crush its competitors.
That could have worked.
Right?
So he let it sink in, which is also wildly offensive.
I believe the Titanic was also built by Germans.
I believe the Titanic was also built by Germans. Absolutely. I like the idea that the Germans at that time took no responsibility for the war, and they were great.
Interesting. How did it happen?
And ironically, that was the end of the Google Translate document. Oh my gosh.
This was beautiful.
This was amazing. My spirits have been lifted. I would highly suggest, which is too late now, I guess it's just going to have to get cut out, that you listen to this episode while you look at the transcripts.
Yes.
Hopefully you enjoyed our little foray into April Fool's Day our way.
Hopefully we didn't make anybody cry, because it's been like my point in life is to not make anybody cry on April Fool's Day ever
Unless it
since
was
second
funny.
grade.
Like tears,
Yes,
joy
yes.
tears.
Unless you cried of joy, then that's okay. So this has been April Fool's Day with Dungeons and Dopamine Podcast.
True that. You can listen to us anywhere you stream podcasts and also on YouTube.
You can support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/dungeonsdopamine.
You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Insta, and Reddit.
You can reach out to us on any of those social medias or at dungeonsdopamine@yahoo.com.
And Dungeons and Dopamine is edited and published by Argyle Pigeon Productions. All right, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
You love you. Bye.